guys, how's it going? I don't know what's going on up here. Anyway, apparently the cops are everywhere. We actually have a burn ban right now, which does include fireworks. So all of the people who are hoping to do fireworks won't be able to. This happened probably about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. We had another one of these cases where it was coming up to the 4th and we hadn't seen rain, at least in the mid-Michigan area, in quite a while, so everything was all dried out. And unfortunately, as it turns out, we couldn't do any fireworks. Now, depending on the severity, the burn bans, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, you're not supposed to burn anything, basically. No fires, no nothing, any possible way. I mean, what they worry about is that a stray firework will kind of veer off and then end up in some trees or bushes or whatever and start a fire that, you know, is going to cause, obviously, widespread fire. So it doesn't stop anybody, though, from doing fireworks, despite the burn ban. People still do lots of fireworks. So there were some kids who were doing fireworks in our park. I could hear them, and I'm guessing that's why he's there, because of you know, the burn ban. Now it's cloudy right now. It's been cloudy all day. It looks like it may rain, but it hasn't rained. It hasn't rained at all. So we have not seen rain. We saw a sputter of rain last week, but we've had more dry days than we have in like 5 or 6 years so far this season. So it is kind of disappointing that unless we get some serious rain within the next week, and the forecast isn't showing anything, except today is the only day where we've got a chance of it. You know, unfortunately, there's not going to be very much in the way of fireworks. It sucks for the people who spend gobs of money on their fireworks and then they can't light them. I mean, it's just, you know, it sucks, but that's just the way that it is. We've had more dry 4th of Julys lately than we've ever had. And they passed this law in Michigan where basically all fireworks are legal. You can light whatever you want, even if it leaves the ground. For years and years, it was that if it left the ground, it was illegal. And the whole story behind that, as far as I can remember, or at least if I have my information right, is that it's a double line I can't pass, especially if I can't see. I know he's trying to get over a little bit more, but I would have hit that Mustang. Anyway, so the deal is that some girl apparently had an M80 or firecracker or something, I don't know what it was, and she ended up blowing her hand off or causing some severe damage to her limb, you know, her extremities, whatever you want to call it. And so because of that, the state, being quite liberal at the time, immediately banned fireworks, except for sparklers and some really basic stuff. And actually it created quite a black market here in Michigan, because there was a store in our area in Lansing, American Eagle. And what they would do is they had a back room, and I think a lot of the places kind of had these so-called back rooms. What is going on? What would be helpful is if this guy would be directing with a sign or hand signals or something. Because I thought that these guys were supposed to be somehow directing traffic as far as stop signs or you may pass signs or whatever. I understand that they're doing road work, which is much needed, but I really don't know what's going on. This guy could at least come up to the window and give me some direction or something. Alright, well, I'll probably end up skipping ahead to when I can actually, oh man, you gotta be kidding me. They're just now laying the tar. Well, I guess you guys will be along for the ride. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video and restart it. Alright, so yeah. So anyway, this girl apparently did some damage, and there was a lot of lobbying for this girl who her own fault and her parents' fault, I mean, we mustn't forget that, ended up lobbying for the ban of many, many fireworks. So what ended up happening is all the good fireworks, you know, the ones that leave the ground, the ones that explode, things like that, ended up moving into the black market in Michigan. It sounds funny, but it's true. So a lot of these companies, what are we doing here? I mean, are they just going to keep coming at me, or what? So anyway, a lot of these companies, sellers, stands, and so on, they would have a secret back room. And if you asked for it, then you would be able to buy some of the good stuff, is what they called it. I can remember my dad and I going to American Eagle every year, and we'd ask to go to the back room. Well, then you could sell them, but you had to sign saying that you weren't going to use them in Michigan. You were going to use them elsewhere. I mean, it was a market that, it was tax dollars that the state was losing every 4th of July. Well then, geez, oh Pete's. So people can come from the other side, but they need somebody directing traffic here. This is bullshit. Thanks, man. Thank you. All right, well, that was kind of awkward. Anyway, so finally got through that. That was, they really needed somebody to direct that. That was kind of stupid. And I don't like tar going through my tires either. That sucked. So anyways, so now you can buy and sell whatever you want. You can launch whatever you want. But the deal is that you can only do it the day before the 4th, the day of the 4th, and the day after. Those are the only 3 days out of the entire year in the state of Michigan that you're allowed to do fireworks. At least main ones. I mean, if you do the sparklers, nobody's going to say anything. But, you know, you're doing the major fireworks, there's definitely going to be a problem. And, you know, it'll be a week before the 4th of July. People will be doing fireworks. It'll be the week after people will be doing fireworks. I mean, you're using up everything you got left, right? So it's just one of those things that, you know, you don't want to spend a whole night doing fireworks that you're not supposed to, but you can get away with a couple, okay? So it sucks. The whole point of this conversation, it sucks because we've got 3 days out of the year that legally we can do fireworks, and people buy and pool their money for neighborhoods and so on to buy thousands of dollars in fireworks and have a really good night. And if they're told, sorry, you're not allowed to do them because of the risk of a forest fire, then obviously that's money down the tubes. And unless you get a whole bunch of rain shortly after the 4th, the last time they did a burn ban, it was, you know, we had a particularly dry year that year. It was, I think, all the way till October before they lifted that burn ban, and then they didn't do any of the major fireworks that they do all over until January. They combined the New Year's show with the 4th of July show, basically. They did it 2 in 1, which made the New Year's show really great, but people had to wait for how long in order to get all that stuff. And it's too cold out to do fireworks when it's, you know, just hooked. Okay. It's too cold out to do fireworks. Nice. What the hell? Oh, that's a different county. I wonder where he's going. That's weird. You know what amazes me? I have the utmost respect for law enforcement. I'm not saying that they're bad or anything, but I don't see. Oh, it must be an ambulance. It must be something more serious. Car accident, most likely. I'm sure that. Oh, what am I doing? I'm sure that I'll get my text message here pretty soon about some kind of accident me on the road. But so a little faster on this corner. Losing oil pressure. When you make a left, a hard left, you're okay. When you make a hard right, that's when you lose oil pressure. And I am, what am I doing? Which one is it? I should know this. I've done this 100 times. I am right at the point where I should be getting an oil change. It's probably going to be beeping at me here pretty soon, actually. And I found that when it gets close to the end of an oil change, about a quart down, or a half a quart, is what ends up happening. And because of that, the oil tends to move to one side of the motor when you're making hard turns, and the lifters get starved. That, you guys know that. I had a stuck lifter there for how long? Like 2 weeks. So I try to avoid that. I try to avoid hard turns to try to keep the... Anyway, it's stupid, but anyways, that's just me. So anyway, it just sucks that that all these people have all this money invested in fireworks, and there's 3 days that they can do it. Now, it just, you know, I haven't heard yet, ever, when there's a burn ban, if they set up like an exception day or something, like let everybody know in 2 weeks, do all your fireworks. They're legal for that day. Never once heard that. It's like, okay, when the day comes and gone, oh, you know, who cares? You bought all the fireworks, the tax dollars came in, and now there's always next year. So it's just kind of sucks, but that's just the way that it is. So hopefully we get some serious rain today. You can see how cloudy it is, but it's been like this all day, and we've been getting rain north of us non-stop. And there's like a fine line where, that was a dick move. There's a fine line where there's rain, moisture, and no rain. We're in that no rain zone. We haven't seen much moisture lately. So anyways, I wish they would hurry up and finish whatever they're doing here. They've been working on this for months and months, probably 6 months at least. I I think when the ground thawed, they finally started working on this thing. So probably not 6 months. It was more like probably 5. I think it was late February when they started this thing. I need to hurry up and get it done, and I need to slow down. Traffic is really moving. I'm surprised. Nobody is heading south. Everybody's heading north. As you can see, that side's packed with cars. Everybody getting out of town. This side, there's nobody. It's usually not like this. It's 4 o'clock. It's after 4 o'clock. Banker's hours. Everybody's getting out and going home, and there's no traffic this way. Oh, what are you doing? Can't tell what you're doing. I know what I have to do though. I hate this one area here. There's the merge on and merge off of 96 here. Any of you are familiar with this area here? Is horrible because you've got all of this traffic. You can see to your right, see all of this traffic. They want to either merge onto the highway and head towards 127, or they want to get on 496. See this shit? I need to get over bad. This is the most ridiculous setup ever. So you've got one lane that stays this way to get on 496. Then you got 2 lanes to go to 27 south. If you're coming from 27 south, you just saw what just happened there, and this isn't bumper-to-bumper traffic. It's so difficult to get to downtown Lansing and beyond from here. That's the most ridiculous setup ever. They need them in 2 different spots. Plus, look, you saw those signs over there. Well, that leads up to yet another 496 on-ramp, which is to the left. And you've got 1 lane, you've got 2 lanes merging into 1 fast. So you've got all this traffic, and fortunately there's nobody coming that way for some reason. Usually I run into a bunch. But you've got all this lane running into, or all this traffic running into 1 lane. Oh, I can't even talk. And then this. There's 3 lanes available to everybody. Yet what it seems like is that the left-hand lane, the furthest left, is the one that seems to get used the most. Like this guy up here. This is bullshit. See, and everybody's getting over now because they know they gotta get off. Look at that crap. Whatever that was. Sucks. This whole business interstate crap is a joke. They really need to rework this thing. You've got street after street after street after street that's trying to get on the same exact highway. Here comes a bump. Ah, I hate that one. And look at this. See, you've got all this traffic here. I have to get way over there. And you got 2 choices. You can either go straight like these people here, who are most likely getting on the highway, or you stay in your own lane and then you get stuck back on the highway again. I mean, this really does get packed during the day, and it's impossible to get around. I don't understand where everybody's at. It's usually a lot worse than this. Excuse me. Oh yeah, and this, it goes from 70 to 30 within about 100 feet. So anyway, we're heading into Rio Town. Every time I hear that name, Rio Town, I think of REO Speedwagon for some reason. But we're heading into Rio Town. And they've done quite a bit of work. Make sure I'm still recording. Yes, they've done quite a bit of work to this area here to try to improve it. And I think they've done a pretty good job. You know, they're never going to be able to get rid of all the older buildings and so on that, you know, have had some problems. But for the most part, I mean, I guess I wouldn't feel super unsafe walking down through here at night. But you know, it's definitely not as bad as it used to be. This is actually a really nice area now. You can see they've restored a lot of these old buildings here. Some of them are abandoned, but they've restored a lot. I mean, this is old Lansing. You know, and they got the new Border Water and Light plant that just moved in here. That's what that is on the left. That's an actual power plant, if you believe that. So, you know, they've done quite a bit of work, quite a bit of restoration in this area. Then you've got Quality Dairy headquarters, which familiar with Quality Dairy, that's actually where they produce all of the products for all their stores, right there in that building there, Quality Dairy. Down here somewhere on the left, there used to be a caboose. I don't know if it's still around here, but I remember coming down here with my dad, and we would stand and we'd play on the caboose. It was down here somewhere. A lot of the old rail stuff is gone. Up here a little ways, you'll see some very old railroad tracks. They've been out of service for a long time, probably 25, 30 years, but the crossings are still there. There's 2 sets of crossings. And it's these that are coming up right here. They're real old. And you can see how old they are. I mean, they're ancient. And I don't even know if they still function. And that old stand there doesn't look like it's been opened in probably 20 years, but so a lot of this stuff, you know, they just need to spend some time restoring it. Like, I'd love to see them restore the railroad system, you know, take a railroad through Lansing. I think it'd be great. Here's another section of the old railroad tracks that are never used anymore. This railroad, oh, it's horrible. There's a marijuana store there. So anyway, yeah, I mean, this isn't a bad area at all. It really isn't. I mean, this is basically downtown Lansing, but there's nothing wrong with it. So anyways, I'm gonna let you go because I'm getting close to my stop. So I will catch you all later. Have a good day.